welcome back to Collecting Issues, where this week we'll be reading Do a Powerbomb, collecting issues 1 to 7 of the 2023 comic from Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer from Image Comic.
So the comic book education continues?
We're talking inappropriate comic books.
You're into comic books, aren't you?
That's comic book shit.
Like in the comic books.
Very good, very exciting, Benjamin. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and friends beyond, ladies and gentlemen. And between, and not necessarily beyond either, before. Doesn't matter. Welcome back to Collecting Issues, the sometimes bi-weekly comic book club. This week, Benjamin, we're talking about a comic from DWJ and Spicy Mike.
Spicy Mike's back in the podcast, Michael. He's going to be telling us all the secrets to keeping your lady happy in these cold winter months. Spicy Mike. No, Michael, of course, it's Daniel Warren Johnson, inking and comic penman extraordinaire with his good pal, Mike Spicer, who's all about them colours.
Spicy Mike, Benjamin. Benjamin Spicy Mike, of course, my nickname in college. What are we talking about? Why are we talking about this? What has brought this afore us?
Michael, you and I have gone on a bit of a Daniel Warren Johnson odyssey of the last couple of months, primarily down to our great love, I think, our graw of Beta Ray Bill Argent Star.
Oh, very good. That was the one where Beta Ray Bill refused to grow up and he went on a cosmic adventure and was giving everyone a power. He was giving people a power bomb. Very suspicious.
So, Michael, we've decided to continue our love of Daniel Warren Johnson, who I have become convinced through this comic is one of the best people working in comics today.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
High praise. High
praise indeed.
No, sorry. Faint praise, I meant to say.
Faint praise.
Faint praise.
Passing praise, really.
Old flip-flop Colopy, they say.
Yeah, the kind of thing you'd say your grandmother would say about you. Oh, he's very good. Very good.
Very good, my grandson. Very good at comics.
Michael, but enough of this waffle. What are we even talking about? This, Michael,
yes?
Do a Powerbomb is the wrestler meets Dragon Ball Z, meets Mortal Kombat, meets every single 80s smash 'em up ever.
Very good. Bloodsport.
Bloodsport. Name it. It's probably it.
The 80s cartoon Muscle.
Yeah, it's Muscle.
The other Dragon Ball. Oh, you've said that already.
Yeah, I've said that already, Michael. But anyway, Michael, we'll get into that a little bit more on the podcast. It's a journey of grief and loss.
Yeah, that caught me by surprise, by the way. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, bloody telegraphed blow by telegraphed blow, Michael. Bloody awful. Is life kayfabe? Is kayfabe life?
Ben's doing the pro wrestling terminology this week, ladies and gentlemen. He's got out his Urban Dictionary and he's learned the words.
Lads, I've been looking up words. Like, wait until I get to slobberknocker, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, nom. Then, Michael, it's a reframing of the universe with the face and the heel as a cosmic wheel.
Oh, that rhymes.
I did. I put a lot of effort in there, Michael. I truly did. There's a great life lesson in that you never trust a necromancer.
Or a dog puncher.
Put them both in the bin.
The same bin. The same bin.
The same bin.
Let them wrestle it out.
Yeah, let them wrestle it out in that bin. And Michael, most importantly, why do we put ourselves in those four corners? Why do we take those hits? Why do we lick the mat? Michael.
I think you went a little bit off the rails there, to be honest. I mean, I don't know if that was all wrestling terminology.
Michael.
Yes?
We lick the mats for the fans.
We lick the mats for the fans.
It's all about the fans.
Put it on my gravestone, ladies and gentlemen. Mick Leonard died 2025. He licked the mats for the fans.
Licking mat.
Old Matt Licker, they called me.
But that is your elevator pitch for Do a Powerbomb. It is...
You forgot one thing, Ben.
Go on.
Family.
La Familia.
It's all about family and the fans.
It is. It's like someone watched that weird Nick Frost, Florence Pugh, WWE sponsored film, Fighting for My Family, back in the day. And Daniel Warren Johnson said, I could do that better.
I could do that better.
I could do that
higher
better.
stakes. ridiculously high stakes. Benjamin, let's point out before what's this called? Collecting Issues. Collecting Issues is a comic book club in which we discuss the comic books that we've read. And therefore, there's going to be big time spoilers.
Oh, there's so many spoilers. This is like taking a look at Triple H's call sheet for the next 3 months. We know it all, ladies and gentlemen. We know it all. And you should know it all too before you decide to listen to this fucking podcast.
This is great. Benjamin's lady friend likes wrestling. So she's obviously been coaching him. She's done a bit of prep on him for this. This is fabulous.
My phenomenal lady friend has sat me down and said, now, Mick Leonard likes wrestling. So you don't want to make an ass of yourself on this wrestling comic podcast.
Don't show yourself up.
It was more of a don't show us up, which I understand. She's very passionate. Very passionate.
Fair.
So I've been making a real effort here. But come here to me.
What?
This does have spoilers. So go read the comic.
Read it first, then come back. And big spoilers here, first of all. It's fucking great anyway. So you'll enjoy it. So go read it.
We only cover comics we like, folks.
No, we don't.
Yes, we
no,
do.
we don't.
On the
we
new
read
iteration
Bloodshot.
of the podcast.
We read
on
Bloodshot,
the new iteration
Benjamin.
of the yeah, but then remember we got that psychological trauma, Michael, and we had to be bedridden for weeks.
Yeah. Oh God, we got absolutely ridden. Yeah. So yeah, do we only read good ones now?
We only read good ones now.
We only
Michael,
read
since,
good ones, ladies
since the
and gentlemen.
reboot.
I've just
we only
learned
read
that.
good comics. Yeah, well, it's news to Michael, but it's not news to you as listeners. But
Good
come here
news.
to me.
What?
Come here to me.
What?
Do you enjoy this? Do you enjoy this comic book chat and malarkey? Go and give us a review. Come on, away with you. Away with you. While you're getting the comic and giving it a read, give us a review for a great recommendation. Up there with that. Up there with that.
Up out of it.
And if you don't think we have the right take on something, do you know what? You can tell us to our faces. Get up on the Discord. Let us know.
We will put you in a lock, though. Just
well,
for clarity.
Mick will. I don't really have the upper body strength putting people in locks.
I'll hold them down for you.
Oh, great. Teamwork. Teamwork, Michael.
A tag team can be, Ben.
Yeah, speaking of tag teams, Michael, this is written by two of our faves, Daniel Warren Johnson and Spicy Mike.
Good old Spicy Mike.
They are at peak form in this, Michael. There is kinetic, bloody violence at a scale hitherto unseen in a comic book, Michael. There are distorted forms and fourth wall breaking punches. The bloody lettering is kinetic. It's connected directly to the universe. I think you might call it diegetic lettering.
Diegetic lettering. We've just invented that. Yeah. Look, Ben, you could read this stupid thing without a story and it would still be good.
It'd slap, Michael.
It would slap. Because there's just people doing big power slams on each other. And funnily enough, some of the moves we've seen before, because bloody Beta Ray Bill was doing them in Origin Star a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So we've seen some of these suplexes before, but this is a visual feast, Benjamin. I was going to say a visual feast for the eyes, but I think that's redundant.
I mean, it's a comic book, Michael. But in fairness, Daniel Warren Johnson is a spectacular comic book artist in a field of his own. He bought a field, and that's where he does all his inking. He goes out there, he says the grass really helps him. And if he stubs one of his brushes, he just picks up a handful of grass, ties it together, and keeps going. No, but in all honesty, this is a man who has a near mastery, I would say, of a character silhouette. I'd say that he has a pretty solid take on comic book anatomy. And what I mean by that is he does not sacrifice a great moment to the tyranny of anatomical correctness. He'll just stand a form. He'll whack it about the place.
He bloody will, you know. He bloody will.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've kind of jumped ahead here because we've gone on to art and visuals.
Yeah, sorry. That happens with all Daniel Warren Johnson. But I suppose, Michael, Daniel Warren Johnson is central here because we've moved on to publication context here, Michael. Yeah. And this is quite important. There's quite a heartfelt little story to this.
Go on.
I would have thought that coming to Beta Ray Bill Origin Star, we've got an episode on it. It's linked below in the description. Below. You can check it out.
If Ben remembered.
If Ben remembered. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
You never know.
But come here to me.
Yes, go on.
I would have thought, given this true love letter to wrestling, pro wrestling in particular, in all its forms, and the litany of wrestling moves and poses that we saw in Beta Ray Bill Origin Star, I would have thought this man was a lifelong wrestling fan.
Is he not? Is that what you're about to spring on me?
He's not, Michael.
Is he a bloody noob?
He's a noob, Michael. He became a wrestling fan in 2018.
Oh, that's not that noob. Oh,
It's pretty noob.
It's pretty
COVID
noob.
doesn't count.
So, COVID doesn't count. Some things make sense in this now, considering...
Go on.
I can't put my... We'll get to them later. But, like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so he came to this in the summer of 2018 in quite a heartfelt way, Michael. He just had a baby with his good lady wife.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's funny, because that theme comes up here a couple of times.
Oh, it certainly does, Martin. It certainly does. Come here to me. What's the one thing you lose when you have a child?
Dignity.
Dignity? No.
Time.
No.
Money.
Yes, but no.
Sex drive.
Probably.
I don't know, Benjamin. I don't have any children.
Sleep, Michael.
Sleep. Okay.
You don't get any fucking sleep.
Freedom.
You don't get any of it. Free. Stop. The bit's over. Stop depressing the parents that listen to this podcast for escapism. Stop that. No, but in all honesty, sleep, Michael. He said he was up late doing his shift on the baby. Very good. Good stuff, Daniel Warren Johnson. Do your bit. Good man. Yeah. And he said he used to flick on the TV at all hours of the morning when he was soothing his child. And he'd sit there holding the baby when she wouldn't settle. And he'd end up watching whatever late night drivel was on, Michael.
Oh.
And it just so happened that wrestling reruns from Japan were on.
Pro
So
wrestling.
So he found himself watching what was called the G1 Climax.
All right.
Which maybe he told his wife it was wrestling. I don't know. But it's a famous month-long tournament where some of the best matches of the year occur within Japanese wrestling. And he found himself being essentially sucked into this world of theatrics and acrobatics and, quite frankly, superhuman feat of physicality on occasion. And he said it just hooked him. He said it snared him. He was sucked into this. And what really drew him to it was the drama that would be infused into this. And of course, he'd found himself, Michael, with a brand new set of emotions because he now had a baby.
Yeah, little baby there on his lap.
Little baby. And that would serve as his taster, his foray into the world of pro wrestling, as it were. And he said he would come into stories of huge, like, emotional impact and intrigue kind of halfway through if he flicked it on at a certain time. And he said it was bizarre to be hit with this wall of emotion. And he said originally he couldn't grasp whether or not, he knew that wrestling was fake, but he said watching it on the telly, I know I've said the awful thing, get out of here. But he said he was so ensnared and he couldn't articulate why it was. So this project is kind of his attempt to articulate what makes pro wrestling so great. But Michael, I also see him now as the self-insert for Willard Necroton.
Oh, you think he's Willard Necroton? He's not. Okay, spoilers. He's not bloody. God, I've forgotten the character's name.
Steel Sun. No, not Steel Sun. No, Cobra Sun.
Cobra Sun. He's not Cobra Sun, is he not?
So I think there's probably different aspects of Daniel Warren and Johnson in this. But for me, that initial foray into the comic where we see you, Steel Rose, and Cobra Sun have a go at each other, that's all watched through a screen, Michael, with a little glimpse into the center of it. But the framing of issue 1 is a bloody creepy necromancer having a look at this on his interdimensional cable box and going, oh, I like this. Oh, bloody hell.
He's got a real dose of the Mojo verse about him, doesn't he?
He does. He's got a big dose of the Mojos. He's got a big dose of the Shao Kahns pulling people in.
He's got the bloody Callisto from Twisted Metal.
Yeah, it's any Twisted Games Master vibe.
Come and take part in my evil tournament, and if you win, I'll give you one wish. Or will I? Be careful what you wish for, ladies and gentlemen, and friends beyond the binary. But yeah, so that's kind of the emotional context behind this, Michael. And as you move through the comic, kind of everywhere, this love of the madness of wrestling, and then also, if Willard Necroton is something to go by, the love of an 80s acid-fueled trope of, there's 80s mornings cartoons here,
There's a lot of manga here, if we're being honest. There's a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles go into the weird universe that Shredder lives in. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on here, and it's fabulous. It's
Shredder
great
lives in,
stuff.
just for clarity, Ben, Shredder lives in our universe. You meant Krang.
I meant Krang. Yes, I did.
You did. Yeah, Shredder
I meant
lives in our
Krang.
universe. Yes, there is. There's a lot of it. There's. Funnily enough, though, that's what I was expecting from this. Because I looked at the covers and I looked at the plot synopsis and I went, all right, this is weird, cosmic. My first thought was, it's going to be like when the Grand Master gets all the Marvel superheroes and makes them do a big wrestle.
Yes, choose your allies and go against your universe's evil.
Exactly, that was Krang again. So I thought I thought it was going to be like that, but it's not like that, especially at the start. The first issue, Benjamin, I felt betrayed and lied to.
Yeah.
Because the first issue was a heartfelt origin story of a young girl whose mum died in the wrestling ring and her determination to be like her anyway.
It's devastating.
Oh!
Yeah.
Stuff.
So sad. So sad. And so Lona Steel Rose is the daughter of Ewa Steel Rose. And she loses her mum. She loses her mum at the peak of her career. You know, it's mad.
And you know what's
such an unexpected.
And you know what's upsetting about it, Ben? As someone who grew up with wrestling, so realistic. Okay, she basically does $1 million baby. She does a big Hillary Swank. She does like. I grew up in the era when Owen Hart died of a broken neck, and then Droz died. Well, Droz didn't die, but I think Droz was paralyzed from the neck down 6 weeks later, and spent the rest of his life paraplegic and died at 50 or something. Like, Steve Austin got dropped on his head and broke his neck. It's such an easy thing to happen, and such a normal, mundane death in the world of
wrestling.
Picking someone up and jumping off a top rope with them and then maybe landing on their head.
And in that, Michael, is kind of the core of this comic is, you know, for all its pageantry, for all its grandeur, for all its interdimensional glory, sometimes a horrifically unfair accidental death is all you get. Yeah.
And the tragedy of the panel changing colour and just the onomatopoeic word slip appearing.
Yeah.
You just go, oh no.
So like, this is what I mean. Like there's a glorious amount of effort gone into this. And one of the things that I found fascinating, Michael, in terms of pacing in this is it flips from, there's an almost, I don't know how Daniel Warren Johnson does this, but I think it's through a series of very intimate panels combined with some great splash pages. One in particular that I'm thinking of.
Oh, the splash pages, Benjamin. The splash pages.
Michael, glorious. I think he has a unique talent for pivoting between what are great moments of kind of framing and grandeur. I'm thinking of the first look we get at Ewa Steel Rose as she's standing in backstage. Yeah. And then the tiny quiet moments that she shares with her daughter in the background.
Oh, I don't care those, Ben. I want to see the big wrestling moves.
I know you do, Michael. I know you do. But he's very good at giving us, you know, the big glory of this. And he's good at building the tension before the match. We feel it. And there's streamers. And there's like the use of lettering here, Michael, is spectacular. It's everywhere, but you feel the crowd because the lettering is interrupting panels and stretching beyond the borders of the gutters in the comic. Fabulous stuff.
Benjamin,
fabulous stuff. Yes.
Interesting, right? Here's something I wanted to talk about, and it doesn't really fit into any of our normal topics.
You fucker.
Well, no, it's fine. It's very related to what we're talking about. This exists in a world where intergender matches are not only the norm, but not ever discussed or brought up or not mentioned that she's a woman in a man's world, or it's just in this world Men and women wrestle each other. That's it. Don't be worried about it. They wrestle each other and they fall in love and they do a big baby.
Yeah, absolutely. For what it's worth, Michael, because
Yes.
of his Daniel Warren Johnson's DWJ, as we refer to him from here on out.
As we say, yeah.
As DWJ's focus is Japanese wrestling, intergender matches are more common in Japanese wrestling than they are in American pro wrestling.
A bit, but it's still not the norm.
No, it's not the norm.
And wrestling goes through cycles of women can't even be allowed in the ring, to women are allowed to wrestle each other, to women and men wrestle in intergender tag matches, to, oh look, there's a muscly woman, she can wrestle the men. But this is just a world where all wrestlers are equal. It ignores things. Like, this exists in the world. It's a very interesting swap, in fact, from the world that they start out in, where wrestling is pretty much what it is in our world, a little bit heightened and with gender norms thrown out, to the real world, the fighting that they end up doing, where it keeps going and going further and further into insanity.
Yeah. And that's, you know, that's what we get, Michael. And it's so interesting. It starts in such a measured, human, mundane almost place after the death of U.S. Steel Rose. And then the stakes just keep going up.
Up and up and up.
And it's really important, I think, because what it's actually doing is it's playing with two things that are quite essential to both wrestling and Daniel Warren Johnson's work. It's playing with the notion of the tournament arc in shonen manga. We've already talked a little bit about Dragon Ball Z. That's a great example of the tournament arc. It's the World Martial Arts contest or something. The World's Martial Arts contest or something like that. I'll look it up now in a second. But that's one part of it. And the stakes constantly have to go up, Michael. Constantly have to go up. And we saw that with the Super Saiyan transformations, and his power levels are over 9,000. You know, power levels and stuff like that are silly, but you have to constantly ramp those up to maintain tension. And every time you stretch, the goalpost has to move. And it, you know, we've talked about this a little bit in other comics, Michael. One of the great challenges is, we sometimes call it the Hulk effect. You know, the Hulk is the scariest thing in the world to other heroes, but sometimes he's a punching bag for the purpose of the comic and showing how big and bad the big bad actually is. And I hate that kind of constant one-upmanship in comics. It's irritating, to say the least. And it leads to no end, Michael, no end of internet debate and pedantry and stuff like that. So if you'd like to be pedants, that's fair enough. You know what? You enjoy the comic whatever way you want. But in this, Michael,
Yes.
it is part of the plot that the stakes have to keep going up. In this, it is a mechanic of the story, and it's part of the lesson on grief that is being taught.
Yeah, I hate being
In
taught
my
lessons in my wrestling comics. I thought this was going to be about wrestling.
It is about wrestling, Michael. It's a great
good.
love story to wrestling in lots of ways. But it is, you know, at the core of it, Michael, is the loss of U.S. Steel Rose for both Cobra Sun and for Lona Steel Rose. It is their grief journey, their pain, that fuels this story.
It's everyone's pain, Ben. All of the characters. They're unlike a lot of these bloody martial art tournament movies or films or TV shows. No one has the wrong reason to be in the tournament. No
Not a
one's
one.
there. Not one of them. Well, we don't meet everyone, obviously. For example, I was very disappointed we didn't get to meet the robots. But
Robot
no
Power
one.
Rangers.
They're all there for exactly the same reason. They're all there to try and bring a loved one back from the dead. Yeah. So there's no, I just want to prove that I'm the most dominant force in face punching. Or there's no, I'm just here for the money. Or I'm just here to kick the kids on the side of the ring. Everyone. Did you just do a big squeaky fart there? What was that?
No, that was my chair, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I won't be doing squeaky farts.
A big squeaky wrestly fart. But yeah, everyone is their own. Everyone is the hero in their version of the story, and we see that with the orangutans, and then we see that when we
Orangutang.
Orangutangs, I get it. And we see it again when we get a flashback and like 3/4 of an issue dedicated to the backstory of the up until that point, hither to that point, the main villains.
Yeah, the heels, the mega heels.
The heels, Benjamin, but they're not heels really, are they? Is that
Not heels
another
at all.
wrestling it's another wrestling insight. They're just doing a role.
So this is one of the interesting things that I really enjoy about this comic, Michael, because I suppose for anyone who is a wrestling fan, you know what the term kayfabe is. For anyone who isn't a wrestling fan, you might not know what the term kayfabe is. Kayfabe is the accepted reality of the narrative being told in wrestling. And what that means is you are given your role and you play your role, even though you might be best mates with the man that you're flipping and spinning and bouncing off ropes and, twisting into arm locks. Doesn't matter. For the purpose of the narrative, you're the ultimate villain. And there is, I suppose, internationally, a suspension of disbelief when it comes to wrestling and an acceptance of kayfabe, and you buy into the heel narrative, the bad guy, and the face narrative, the good guy. And
much
that's
more
what
these
drives the
days,
story.
Benjamin. This is the thing. Much more these days. In the heyday of wrestling, they were much more serious about this. Much more serious about this. Like, you had wrestlers who wouldn't travel on a plane together if they were in a storyline together, because they couldn't be seen by fans at the airport being civil to each other and not immediately breaking into a fist fight.
Yeah.
Or like you would have like people who would be injured in a storyline and therefore wouldn't make public appearances for months. Like, the whole thing was taken much more seriously because it wasn't a willing suspension of disbelief. It was very much enforced. Keep this as real as possible. The willing suspension of disbelief and the very fact of the word kayfabe entering into the fan...
Yeah, the common vernacular, as it were.
Vernacular is a turning point in the understanding of wrestling. And I think, and I don't know if it's on purpose, I think that comes through as a theme in this as well. Because they address it a little bit, because it starts in our world where wrestlers are performers with a scripted outcome. And then they move into the world, and only for one issue are they worried about, hey, we're not real fighters. Then, once they get into the tournament and things start going, they have transitioned to a dimension where wrestling actually is real.
As real as it gets.
As real as it gets. And a lot of the things that don't make sense about wrestling are just part of this stylized type of combat. Like, for example, in a no rules, no DQ match, why wouldn't both tag team partners just be in the ring at all times? Because if you can't be DQ'd, then why would you wait outside? You would just start inside.
Just have
with
a go.
a baseball bat. Exactly.
Yeah.
But at this point, the world that they're in is back to kayfabe wrestling.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that transition between, okay, modern, real world, cynical, internet savvy, we know this is a performance, to, but now it's real, and all the tropes of wrestling are still here, but it's real. Just like it was when you were 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I like
and
that.
it's great. It's absolutely fabulous. There are so many nods to fans and respect for the fans' time and respect for the fans' unerring belief in certain wrestlers on occasion in this. One of my favorite examples of this is that FISO, or Fuck Your Stupid Opinions, as they're known in this, are a direct throwback to the kind of tag team you would see in the Attitude Era of wrestling, where we're going to be a little bit edgy. We're gonna put a fuck you, but we're never going to say it on air. We're going to be known as FISO or FYSO or something like that. But we all know what it means. We all know it. We won't broadcast it.
Yeah,
we know what it means.
They're the NWO. They're the Degeneration X. They're crotch pumping bad attitude.
Sons
What
of
I really
bitches.
like about them is that in the world of all these fucking weirdos, they're the two normalist opponents.
they are. They're basically Earthers themselves.
Yeah, a bald bloke in his 40s and an angry woman. I was like, I'm looking at
Very
it going,
angry woman.
a very unusually angry woman and a very unusually bald, slightly overweight bloke in his 40s. I
Yeah, one
related
is
to them,
Frank.
Ben. I don't know why. Yeah. Normal names as well.
Yeah, but one is Frank, and I can't remember what the woman's name is. I'm looking it up here.
Stella or something.
Yeah, it's something like that. And it's pretty interesting. Like they're the ultimate antagonist of this, I guess. Well, if you don't count God, but we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later. But this is the thing. Like in the real world of pro wrestling, there actually really isn't an antagonist to this.
No, there isn't at all.
You could argue that they're the antagonists, but they're not really. They're just in the tournament bracket.
Yeah.
They do, though, one of my favourite tropes of both wrestling and kind of any sort of kumite blood sport sort of thing. And they bring in the sacrificial Uncle Blood. And I went, oh no, this guy's
Not
doomed.
Uncle Blood.
This guy's going to get bloody... What was his name in Bloodsport? Remember in Bloodsport where Jean-Claude Van Damme makes a friend?
Yeah, and then he gets... But it's Apollo
walloped.
Creed.
Yeah, it's Apollo Creed. Yeah.
In Rocky
it's the
3,
80s.
It's the 80s protagonist Powell face.
Yeah. Rocky 4?
I can't remember which one it is, but like you're one Schwarzenegger bloody Weathers hand clap away from death at any given moment in an 80s film.
Exactly.
And that is exactly what's happening here. That is exactly what's happening here. And poor old Uncle Blood. Oh, God.
He gets a walloping.
He gets a walloping, Michael. And I think, one of the most interesting things about this is... So I suppose I can't go any further without discussing the dynamic between US Steel Rose, Lona Steel Rose, and Cobra's son. Spoilers if you haven't read this comic. I don't know why you're still here if you haven't read the comic, but this is the biggest spoiler. It turns out that Cobra's son is Lona's dad, Jacob.
Oh.
Now this is the bit that I believe the least, right? Because when he's a regular dad, he's fucking tiny.
He's a tiny little fella.
He's a tiny little fella. And then when he wears the mask, he just turns into the fucking Hulk. He turns into a big Japanese Hulk of a fella. Here's
the thing, right? He's not that big. Because he looks big compared to two small little tiny women.
Yeah, all right.
But he's got what they would call on the internet, Benjamin, a sleeper build. Let's give him that.
It's got the ultimate sleeper build, Mike.
Ultimate sleeper build. Ben, but this twist was the first time in a long time that I audibly gasped at a comic book.
Yes, yeah.
It completely and utterly caught me by surprise.
And that happened to me as well.
Very rarely catch me by surprise that much in comic books, because as much as I'm not complaining, but as much as I'm pointing out that they go through all the kumite tropes of this, I don't know why I completely and utterly didn't see that coming, because it's foreshadowed. Yeah, I gasped. I went, "Oh, it's her dad! It's her dad! It's Dad's Cobra's son!" Yeah, and it's really foreshadowed as well, because he leaves baby Luna. No, that's not her name.
Lona.
He leaves baby Lona with Uncle Blood to when her mom was going off to have the match. And okay, now we have to address, though, the excitement of the twist is over, and then the revelation that it's all about family. But it is a lot of bullshit that they never told her. Nonsense.
Fucking horseshit.
Absolute
silly.
nonsense.
Fucking silly. There's no way it makes any goddamn sense. But it's important, I suppose, in fueling the fucked up psychosis behind certain forms of wrestling psyche, I suppose.
Okay.
So one of the things I found fascinating about this is the punishment that Cobra's son decides to live with. He takes on an almost masochistic form of punishment in that he fights in fucking dive bar wrestling matches with broken glass and barbed wire. And is there a specific name for that type of wrestling?
I suppose you could call it hardcore, but he does a big Mick Foley on himself. He does a big Mankind.
Yeah. So
the entertainment is the sheer lengths to which he punishes his body for entertainment.
Yeah. So there's an entire scene where we see the fate of Cobra's son after Cobra Steve. And he's just in this match with this awful guy. He's smashing him, he's stabbing him with forks, he's wrapping barbed wire around his neck. It's mental.
Oh, madness, Benjamin. Real hardcore, real not late 90s. That's a real 2000s-y vibe, at least in American wrestling. Yeah, in American wrestling.
Right.
That's from the Extreme Attitude era. You wouldn't get that now, Benjamin, in the PG era.
You wouldn't see it now.
No.
Might have a lot more kids at wrestling matches these days, I tell you that much.
Yeah. We're actually been in the PG era. But anyway, you're still not allowed to cut yourself. They're not allowed to cut themselves in American wrestling anymore. Well, excuse me. Benjamin, I'll be lynched. Excuse me. In the WWE. The WWE is not American wrestling, and American wrestling is not the WWE.
Not anymore, Michael.
You can do whatever you want.
Do whatever you like. Go on over to AEW. If you slap some people around, see what happens.
Is that not owned by the same people? I keep losing track. No, they're separate.
I think it's all come on now. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Do you know who would know? My good lady friend.
She'd know. We should have had her on. For the old knowing what Indian wrestling organisations are owned by which. Benjamin, anyway, there's some fucking great wrestling panels in this. Anytime.
Michael.
Anytime.
Spectacular.
Anytime someone does a high-flying move, I tell you what, I have never seen art, comic book art, capture a kinetic moment frozen in time.
Insane.
It's incredible. There's scenes like when Lona does a moonsault, and we see a glimpse, like a photograph. It's like a photograph, but with the kineticism of comic book art, and it's zoomed out. It's not zoomed in on her. That's, I think, what makes them look so amazing. It's zoomed out. All of this frantic action is happening, and then just there, not necessarily even center frame, but still the focal point. You have this character in this majestic swan dive pose, and they are amazing. There's 6 or 7 of them through the whole thing. Luna does a moonsault. I think someone does a shooting star press.
Is that this one on the cover?
No, actually, that one isn't one of the ones that I mean. That's not one of my favourites. I get what's happening there, but that looks like...
We never see that one. It's exclusively for the cover.
Yeah, but that looks like a normal kind of superhero pose almost.
But I'll get into that in a second, Michael.
But these moments are really not superhero poses. These moments look like... Imagine if wrestling was as big, and I suppose it nearly was, but imagine if wrestling was as big as boxing was in the 70s. And you know that famous knockdown moment with Muhammad Ali standing with the glove and that iconic photo?
Yeah, and he has it clamped against his... Yeah.
These are the spectacular sports photography, the most incredible sports photography photos you've ever seen. Freeze framed as intergalactic wrestling competition images. They're incredible. Flick through there, Benjamin. Find one of these. They are amazing. There's one where Luna's doing a moonsault or a shooting
it's where she's
star
facing
press.
off against the orangutan. It's where she does she wins the first match for Steel Sun.
And then like there are similar panels like where he does a suicide dive or a suicide bomb over the ring, stop someone getting in.
Yeah.
There's an incredible one where it's a flashback to Cobra Sun's early years, and he does a shooting star press off a balcony. Oh, look at that! That's the one I meant.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Magnificent.
It's magnificent. And it's not. It's like a sports photograph, but with comic book kineticism. It's incredible.
So I did a little bit of digging on this, Michael, because I was so taken with this. There's some other great examples. The Knights of Rion, or whatever they're called, do an awful fucking finishing move called King Arthur's Table.
Yeah.
And it's the two of them. But he has this way of freezing gravity. I don't know what you'd call it, but it's stunning. He's an inker beyond compare, Michael. But I did some digging into this because I'm quite interested. I have a photograph here on my bedroom wall of a luchador goading the crowd, Michael, in black and white.
Do you really?
And it's from, I'm really taken with it because I love really good sports photography like what you're describing. But that's by a guy called Geoff Winningham. And Geoff Winningham is arguably one of the most formative photographers for the creation of wrestling as it is today. He captured the ability that wrestlers have to hold a crowd. And he did an entire series of photographs called Nights at the Coliseum. And Nights at the Coliseum was in 1971, I believe.
19-dickety-aught.
And features a series of photographs. It's essentially an extended photo essay of him photographing different wrestlers in Texas.
I tell you what, though, Ben.
Event.
Sorry to cut across you.
Go on.
Fuck you one thing. Wrestlers in Texas in 1970 doing backflips 20 feet in the air.
No. Sorry, I said Winningham. It's Winningham. My apologies. It's Winningham. But his emphasis when he did these, he did this run in December of 1971. Emphasis is on capturing the dramatic moments, Michael, as they happened. And he would capture, sometimes it would be regular wrestlers, and sometimes they would bring in luchadors from Mexico. And luchadors are where Texan wrestling fans would get their first glimpse of acrobatic wrestling, if you like.
High-flying wrestling.
High-flying wrestling, Michael.
Top
precisely.
rope action.
But if you look at those moments, Michael, and I'm going to show you one or two of them here because I think it's probably worth seeing.
Oh, go on then.
I think it's probably worth seeing.
Go on then.
So these are the photographs of Geoff Winningham.
Oh, yeah.
And they are the frozen, because Geoff Winningham would take them obviously ringside a lot of the time. And they are the moments of absolute chaos. We almost see this one, Michael. This is a photograph of Gorgeous George was the name of it. That's the man with the long hair.
Yeah.
And Tim Woods. We see that scene recreated with the larger orangutan brother and Cobra's son. He gets slammed from the side in a near horizontal move by the orangutan brother. And these photographs, I think, are a huge inspiration for the pageantry that would come in later on, but also for Warren Johnson in researching these kinds of photographs. Now, they are a drop in the ocean for the likes of the WWE, who have a huge archive of imagery that looks after that. But it's the same kind of atmosphere, Michael. It's that great sports photography atmosphere that you were talking about. The drama, the theatrics of this entire thing. And, I would also say this came out before this movie came out, but we saw that movie with Jeremy Allen White about the famous family, the Von Erichs. I think this is from the Coliseum. I think this is from Texas in the Coliseum. The movie was called The Iron Claw, from their famous wrestling move. And The Iron Claw is another film that captures the absolute tragedy of what some wrestlers put their body. The Von Erich family is a family that it almost reads like farce, but I think they lost 5 of their 7 sons to wrestling in various accidents or illnesses as a result of wrestling. That's madness, but it's a testament to the toll and commitment that some of these people bring to the art form. Mad. Anyway, sorry, I got sidetracked there because Geoff Winningham really held my attention at one point. But you were talking, Michael, about those great shots, the aerial moonsaults.
I was done with that. That was great. But it is great. It's fabulous. The art is incredible. Like some of this stuff just needs to go on a poster on a wall. It doesn't need to be in a story.
Yeah.
I'm glad that there's a coherent story around it. But that leads me to my next point, which is...
Go on, off you go.
No, this is good. This is a good thing. Because this, as a wrestling fan, this also resonated a little bit. And, a bit of a lapsed wrestling fan, because I just hate CM Punk so much, Benjamin. As soon as he got involved, I just... I just couldn't take
We'll
it
get
anymore.
calls from one particular listener who I happen to live with and have to deal with. So stop it.
Well, if you lived in
Stop
this
that.
universe, you could just wrestle to an agreement. But Benjamin,
Yeah, it's true.
the second biggest twist of this is that they don't win.
They don't.
They don't win. They come second. Not that uncommon in sport stories. You know, the
No sure things in wrestling, Michael.
no sure things. Famously, if you'll remember, Rocky doesn't win in Rocky 1.
Damn right he doesn't.
He puts up a good show and everyone respects him for it. The Cool Runnings don't win.
They did. They should have, Michael.
They
but
should have, but they didn't. So, not a huge surprise that they don't win. But then it does something where it has the two antagonists, the other tag team, kill each other.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit vicious, a little bit surprising. But as
Frank and Maggie are who they are, Michael.
Frank and Maggie, not...
Frank and... come on. By any other name,
Close
Michael.
enough.
No, come on.
It was close enough.
Close enough.
But it does a real wrestling, which is the promoter, good old bloody James Gandolfini.
Willard Necroton.
He runs backstage, gets the people to come second, goes, improvise. Just go out. Just get back out in the ring. Get back out in the ring and take the belts.
Yeah.
And that is wrestling chaos in its purest form. That's Vince McMahon running down to the ring when John Cena and Dave Batista hit each other from the Royal Rumble at the same time, pulling both of his quads as he tries to get into the ring and sitting on his arse. That is... every promotion has stories of, and then we fucked up and we had to improvise.
One of my favourite moments, Michael, happens right. Blood is unceremoniously destroyed by Fizo. And that is, it cuts to Willard Necroton, necromancer extraordinaire of however many realms he's waged war in a tiny back room with wrestlers roaring at him, saying, "This is bullshit. We won." And he's like, well,
did you?
Well, did you? Did you? Because I've got some fans out there.
Yeah.
And they want to see a match.
Yeah.
And it's because the rookie runt duo have lured him in with a hint of something that'll put bums in seats. A no holds barred fucking knock him up. Like just fucking, okay. And he just throws his rules out the window. There's no grand tournament anymore. It's, no, I can sell a few fucking tubs of popcorn at this. Get the fuck back in that ring. And it's exactly what you say again, Michael. He charges in after his entire wrestling match has gone wrong. I love his moment where he's like, guys, what are you doing? Guys, what are you doing? When Frank and Maggie start to pick the shit out of each other all over again. And it's fabulous. The comic does such a wonderful job of simultaneously elevating wrestling to the cosmic scale it almost deserves, but remaining painstakingly true to the very humble beginnings that it has in our form. It's fabulous.
It is genuinely like it's a regression. It's a regression to wrestling being real, which is great. Having said that, though, let's talk about the ending.
Oh, Michael, fucking madness. So we spoke a little bit, right? You sent me a text earlier on today, Michael. You sent me a text earlier on today, and you said, what was it? Two belly, two plex.
Belly to not two belly, belly to belly. Belly to belly suplex by the architect of creation. One of the best one of the best lines of in-panel commentary I've ever seen in my life. So they wrestle God.
They wrestle God. So we spoke a little bit earlier about the need to constantly up the ante in wrestling. You're always pitching to the back seats with your voice. You're always lining up the next tour. You're always lining up the next match. You're always making sure that the viewer isn't finished watching. That's what you're doing. There isn't a satisfying conclusion in wrestling because it defeats the purpose of why wrestling exists. And that is to sell out fucking arenas.
Yeah, it's serialized storytelling at its best. But I think this absurd level of... Ben, your chair's very squeaky now.
It's a squeaky chair.
Get a bit of WD-40 on it.
I gotta get some WD-40. I gotta get a new one.
This
guys.
episode brought to you by WD-40. Anyway, Ben, the comical level of... A lot of times when comics are like, and then we wrestled like a Superman, and then we wrestled 16 Supermen, and then we wrestled a planet, and then we like Pokemon, Benjamin. Pokemon.
Yeah, come here to me.
Ash ends
Michael,
up Pokemon
there's
battling.
a tournament arc.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. It starts with a little boy with a little rat, and by the final bracket of the tournament, he's literal god of Pokemon. And
fun fact, Michael,
yes.
Pikachu is a mouse-type Pokemon.
Oh no, I didn't mean Pikachu. I meant Rattata.
Oh, right, never mind. Oh, you meant Rattata.
Yeah. I've no
Very
time
good.
for Pikachu. This fucking light hogging little bitch. Anyway,
Get
yeah.
that Pokeball. you
Get
bitch.
back in that Pokeball, you little fucking bitch. Stop fucking showing off with your little cheeks. Your little rosy cheeks, you little prick.
Hey, mate.
I've got a Pikachu.
They fight gods, Michael.
They fight God. They fight
God.
literal God. God uses they, them pronouns, which I think is fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And very much has a vibe of Kingdom of Heaven, the man in the iron mask about him.
Insane, Michael. He is the design of God, the architect of creation, as it were, is a fascinating one for me here. Because in some ways, I think he calls back to the terror of 90s wrestlers like Kane, the masked man entering the arena.
Yeah.
In other ways, I think you're absolutely right. Daniel Warren Johnson is channeling some kind of Greek or biblical or Old Testament omniscience, if you want. And yeah, I think that's there as well. There's a little bit of luchador to him. There's a little bit of bloody Plato to him.
Oh, yeah.
Fiction Plato from Greek philosophy, because Plato was a wrestler. There's a lot going on here, Michael, and it's kind of interesting. Also, the commentator that is brought in for the God match is a much more traditional type of commentator. Willard Necroton kind of relinquishes his role and gives over to a big, bushy bearded man.
Yeah.
Who's just lashing out the commentary on the match.
A big bearded
fascinating.
man. A big bushy bearded man pontificating on wrestling. It's like your friend and mine, Dr. Stephen J. Cadwell.
Tell me about it.
Doing a bloody,
Tell me about it.
doing a little bloody cameo.
Hello, Stephen J. Cadwell.
What's
if
he
you're
doing in
listening.
there?
You're in a comic.
Get out of
You're
that
in a
comic. Get
Get
out
out
of
of
it.
that comic.
Get out
We
of that
told you.
comic.
We thought you were somewhere else in Europe. Did you
Yeah.
lie to us, Stephen?
Yeah,
Have you been in the comics?
Have you
the
been
whole
in
time?
heaven the whole time commentating on bloody wrestling matches with God?
So this is so interesting, right? The commentator and Willard Necroton become the duo that we see in all wrestling. It's our wrestling announcer and our commentators, and they are the ones, Michael, who steer the match.
Yeah.
They are the ones who make sure that we're on track, that the narrative is being followed. They are the one who sways the crowd. They are the ones, quite often, who it's up to sell this to, you know, because wrestlers don't have time once they've given up the mic to be chatting about why they're so annoyed and why they're so pissed off. And it's very much the commentator's job to fuel the narrative beyond what we can see.
Keep that bloody story going.
Keep that story going. And it happens here. Like, God pulls these insane moves. What I like about Beyond Belief, he moves faster than Steel Rose can keep up with. He occasionally gets caught, but he counters no problem. There's an insane move where he just wraps himself around Steel Rose.
Yeah.
And like gets her. He's like, impressive young lady, but I'm going to kick your ass.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. More glorious panels here as they tag team this guy. Look at that. Look at that.
I actually, is that there's one panel, there was only one panel where I thought the distended proportions were a little bit confusing, and it's the one where Steel Cobra, that's not his name, Cobra's son.
They do Sword Sunrise.
Yeah, there's a panel though where he throws an elbow, a spinning elbow. And I thought that it didn't read quite as nicely. But that's nitpicking. Let's not get into it. It's like one...
Let's not get into nitpicking, Michael. We'll be finished before we even start.
One panel from the whole thing. I like his finishing move, the Pillars of Golgotha. It implies that he only ever...
Pillars of Golgotha.
It implies that he only ever wrestled two people at a time.
Oh, amazing, Michael. One of my favorite, just very quickly to jump out of this, because we're really fast, ladies and gentlemen. Depressing, I know. But one of the things I want to jump to really quickly here, Michael, is the finishing move names.
Yes, go on.
Pillars of Golgotha is gods. But what we have, one of my favorite panels in this, one of my favorite pages
Let me stop you for a second. I think that he might have used the Pillars of Golgotha twice. I think one of these also has it. And
well, we'll go through it here together.
Okay, I think he goes to the well.
So this is the stage, Michael, that is the tag team announcement and the matchup. It is a classic tournament board. We see it in shonen manga all the time. It pops up everywhere, Michael. This is straight out of Japanese comics, but it's straight out of any tournament thing.
The Karate
in
Kid.
A film, the Karate Kid. It doesn't matter. It's a tournament board. But Michael, it's fabulous. It is Daniel Warren Johnson's turn to indulge his 80s cartoon fetish. It's his turn to embrace the madcap nature of wrestling. It is his turn to embrace the insanity of costuming and tag team naming that tag teams get to bring to wrestling. So Sun and Steel is a classic kind of naming thing. They hail from Earth, and they don't have their finishing move at that point because they're only getting to know each other. Then we have Orangabang, which are the two orangutans that are fighting. Their finishing move is called Attenborough's Cradle, and it's Burrow as in not David that we have here on Earth.
That is very
then
interesting, though, isn't it? It's very meta.
Very meta. This is silly, and I love it.
Yeah.
And the finishing move for Faizo is the Coin Pouch of Judas. What a name for a finishing move, Michael. Then we get Pizza, who is essentially Batman meets Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
And their finishing move is called the New York Slice. The Lucha Bots, we never get to see.
Never get to see the Lucha Bots.
Never get to see. But theirs is Suicida Mechanica is the name of their move. And then moving on from there, we get Puro Pack, who is definitely a reference to Japanese wrestling and Puresu, or the mispronunciation of pro wrestling, which I will not attempt here, Michael, because we're an all-inclusive podcast and we're not racist. There's enough of that going on in Ireland at the minute. We don't need to add to it. Their finishing move is called the Korakuen Quake. And then we get we get the Knights of Raw, who were the strangest inclusion for me in all of it. They hail from Valthar. I think they're a play on like He-Man and Masters of the Universe.
Okay, I can see that.
Their finishing move is the King Arthur's Table. And then finally we got the Devil Doers, who we never even saw Lucha Bots. And theirs was Tail of the Rat Tail was their finishing move. And they hail from your mom's basement.
Nice. Benjamin, I was wrong. It wasn't a double dip on the Pillars of Golgotha. It was a surprising double dip on
Face God, Michael. And this is the ultimate thing, because it turns out that the necromancer lied.
He's not really much of a necromancer, as it turns out.
Shock. One of my favorite things is, Daniel Warren Johnson is a bit of he's playing with the perception of a wrestling fan, right?
Yeah.
And I think Willard Necroton is every negative stereotype of a wrestling fan rolled into one. He's a bit of an edgelord. He kicks about the place in a big leather duster. He's always gone on about how powerful and great he is, and it actually, turns out not really, and I think he's a play on the negative stereotypes of wrestling fans, but ultimately proves to be one of the fans of pro wrestling. And he does try to give Steel and Sun their shot at getting their mum back by bringing them up to God.
Yeah.
But
it's like I said, there isn't really a villain in this.
No. You think if it was, it turns out the villain is a vampire and wants to suck the souls of the two most powerful people that have been collecting power throughout the tournament. Or it turns out that this blood sport opens a dimension and allows his army to pour through. There's any number of nefarious ulterior motives that we could have, or ulterior motives. I never get that right. But there's any number of things it could be, but there isn't here. It's not that, because it's not a story about cosmic stakes at all, really.
No.
And in the end, the stakes of this are, I don't get my mum back.
Yeah, but remember that nice thing she said when you were younger? And there she is over there, but you can't see her. But she's looking down on you.
She can't see her, but she sees you. And
Oh.
she never left.
Oh, fuck off. Fuck
Michael.
off away from me.
Oh, fuck off. They made God bleed, and God can't bring her back, but they can remind you of why you do this and the influence they've had on you. Michael, devastating ending to this comic.
Oh.
And I was ready to give up on this comic, by the way, when God popped up. I was like, this is jumping the fucking shark.
This is madness.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Where has this come from? And then I was hooked right back in. The art, the pageantry, the silliness, and then, Michael, boom. Just caught with a bloody pile driver straight to the heart, Michael.
The final panel. The final panel is her mum sitting in the crowd, being proud of her.
Oh, fuck.
Get out of here,
Oh.
Benjamin. There's one thing you will have to say for it though. It can't come back for a sequel because there's nowhere else to go.
They've gone to God.
They wrestled God.
They've gone to God. They can't go anywhere else. Michael, this is amazing. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed this comic far more than I thought I would. I am tangentially aware of wrestling thanks to my good lady friend who is the ultimate wrestling fan. She really is a true fan. And I think it would be remiss to point out two things that I really loved about this comic after reading it. Number one, it continues the Daniel Warren Johnson streak of devastating human emotion and connection against a backdrop of ultra-violence that is beyond belief. Daniel Warren Johnson has a true talent for grounding his cosmic odysseys or his cosmic stakes, if you will, in genuine human emotion. And number two, one of my favorite things about this, and one of the things I couldn't understand until I had finished reading the arc, is the cover to the collected issues of this, Michael, is one of the most basic covers you could imagine from a comic that is filled with cosmic shenanigans and insane things. And it took me a while to realize what was happening here, Michael. But if you actually take a look at that cover, the focal point, sure, it's Cobra's son doing a big old jump from the ring into U.S. Steel Rose. But the amount of detail and care that has gone into every single fan in that shot is insane. Every single one of them.
For the fans.
It's for the fans, Michael. And we see it again reinforced right at the end, Michael. Because in that final devastating panel where her mum says, "That's my girl," she's surrounded by fans, just enthralled in their own worlds, discussing the wrestling match. They're the fans, Michael.
It's for the fans. The whole time it was for the fans.
For the fans. And Michael, that's beautiful.
Beautiful.
That's lovely.
Beautiful.
That's lovely.
Gorgeous.
Michael, what was your favourite bit of this?
My favourite
the
bit.
End here.
I like the twist. Look what I did. It made me gasp. It's nonsense. It's a nonsense twist, and doesn't really matter in the almost takes you out of it. But the twist panel is spectacular. I also really enjoy the little bits of comedy, like when she goes to try and convince him, and he just says yes straight away because the same guy came and talked to him. And is like, all right, we're doing away with any sort of worrying here. But the thing that the memory of this is going to be those sports photography style moments, the splash panels, the backflips, the shooting stars, the tiger drivers, fabulous stuff all together. I think
absolutely stunning.
The plot's a little bit thin, but it doesn't matter.
Nobody cares.
Doesn't matter.
Nobody cares.
It's a little bit thin, but it doesn't matter. It's well written. And the art is so amazing.
Isn't that wrestling to a T, though?
Isn't
the plot's a little bit thin.
Yeah.
It's a little bit thin. Come on.
Yeah. Remember when they tried to chop off Val Venus's Mickey with the samurai sword?
Come on now. It's a little bit thin. But am I going to stop watching?
No.
I'm going to watch the shit out of it.
Yeah, remember that?
Spectacular.
Remember that time Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth broke up?
Oh, Michael, do you remember that time, and spoilers for a very recent wrestling event that I've watched, Michael. Do you remember that time that Becky Lynch taunted CM Punk into hitting her, but he wouldn't do it because he's a man of honor? But you know what he did?
Got his wife to beat her up.
This is going to spoil a few things. He's fucking got his wife back into wrestling out of nowhere. What the fuck? But fucking hell. Anyway, Michael, great comic. Thoroughly enjoyed. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the bin array.
Yeah, FBBs.
What did you think of this comic?
I liked it.
What did you think?
I liked it.
No, I want the listeners to tell me.
Oh, the listeners,
Michael.
yeah, sorry.
I want the listeners to tell me. If you want to give us a few thoughts on what you enjoyed and what you didn't, first of all, you'll find us up there on the TikToks and the Instagrams. They're linked below in the description. It's at Collecting Issues. Go find us.
I was going to read out how to
We're
spell
all
collecting
over the
issues,
shop.
but they're normal words.
They're normal words. We don't need to do that.
Don't need to.
You can join our Discord where you can chat along, read along, give us your own thoughts and have them read out on this very podcast. It could happen to you. You could subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can see a video of us chatting away. You can listen to us in all sorts of places and follow the podcast. Give it a review. We do this once a month where possible,
Roughly.
folks. But what we have coming up is quite exciting. We are in September. It is
Leave
on
it
Wednesday
in.
the 10th.
Leave it in.
You'll be hearing this episode. You've got another episode coming to you towards the end of September. We are going to be reading 20th Century Men from Denise Camp, Stepan and Aditya Bidikar from Image Comics. And it got mech and famous men from the 20th century. What's not to love? It's got mechs in it. Also going to be publishing one of our From the Archives episode because we're going into spooky season in October, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll be publishing Batman Strange Apparitions as one of our archive episodes. But folks, that's not all.
My God, we're
That's not
overwhelming
all.
people with content.
We're also going to be doing a little mini episode on Zatanna bringing down the house. So you'll be able to listen to that. But ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, what I want to know is, what spooky thing should we be reading for October?
Yeah, what spooky
we
thing should we
want
read?
your vote. Pick a spooky comic. Recommend a spooky comic. We're no strangers to horror on this podcast. We did The Last House on the Lake. You can listen to that. It's linked down below. Give it a listen if you're looking for some spooky Halloween vibes. But come here to me. What do you think we should be reading for our Halloween episode? Let us know.
Only good
Let
stuff,
us know.
please.
Only good stuff, please, because we're an Only Good Stuff podcast. That's it from us. We're out of here. We hope you enjoyed the episode. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you in a couple of weeks. Do a powerbomb.